Hi, baby. It's time for your bedtime story. This is chapter 3 of The Lease by Crinkle Cub. Ryan's eyes opened slowly. A bright ray of sun had been beaming onto his eyelids and made him feel frustrated. Using his fists, he rubs his eyes and blinks several times. He felt groggy and confused. Looking up, he saw Mickey Mouse floating above him. Several of them. His confusion grew, and he felt even more confused. He had no idea where he was. Trying to sit up to look at the rest of his surroundings, he saw a railing around the bed and light blue walls with clouds painted on them and paintings of baby Mickey and friends. Looking out through the rails, it suddenly made sense. He was at Bob's house. Why could he not remember getting here into bed or the crib? He decided to try and get up and go to the bathroom, but looking at the rails, he could not find a way out. Pulling himself up to his knees, he heard the crinkly sound of the plastic-coated mattress. As the Mickey sheets and blankets fall from his torso, he looked down in disbelief. He was wearing a thick white diaper. Instantly, his hands went to touch, and he felt the thick strength of the plastic and the contrast of softness he felt. While warm, he did not think it was wet, which he felt relieved by. Suddenly, he had to go to the bathroom even more urgently, and panic began to grow as he realized he couldn't get there. Scanning the crib, he just had a mobile overhead and a mountain of stuffed animals. Turning his head around and round, he couldn't find a way out. He was embarrassed to do it, but screaming for help seemed like the only solution. Bob? He squeezed out shyly. He then felt his bladder swell, and his hands went to hold his crotch. Feeling the diaper again, he yells out louder, Bob, I need help. Still no response. Bob, he yells with deep breaths. Bob, please, I need you. Ryan looks down thinking, uh-oh, I don't think I can hold it. In a moment of pure instinct, Daddy! Ryan yells out, completely by mistake. Just then, grinning Bob opens the door. He had been watching the boy wake up on the baby monitor all morning. He was purposely waiting to greet him. He hoped Ryan would react just like this, and was so proud to hear the word Daddy spoken from him, even if out of panic. Hush up, little man. I'm here to rescue you. No need to fret, Bob says with a giggle in his voice. Seeing the strong Navy man shirtless in short athletic shorts gave Ryan a huge sense of relief. Such a sense of relief, he lost focus on holding his morning bladder, and in that moment he let go and began wetting himself. He hadn't even realized as his focus was on how the crib opened. However, as Bob approached the crib rail, Ryan felt the warmth of his diaper and saw the white plastic tint to a swollen hue of yellow. Shock and embarrassment set into his face. Looking up to Bob, the crib rail was now magically lowered. With one of Bob's hands on Ryan's shoulder and the other on his diaper, It's okay, buddy. That's why I'm here, and exactly what it's meant to happen around me. No need to be embarrassed. This is a very safe space. Bob then pulls the boy in for a hug, and a quick motion scoops him into his arms. Before Ryan had his bearings, he was being carried over to the changing table, and Sprinkles was in his arms. He had flashbacks of this happening last night, but it was the last thing he remembered, spitting out the pacifier that somehow made its way into his mouth. He looks at Bob between his lifted legs. Bob, I'm very confused. What happened last night? I don't remember anything. Bob chuckles, then grins. That's okay, silly. It was late, and you seemed a bit overstimulated by an exhausting day. As soon as I put you in a diaper, you seemed to fall right asleep. I put you on my lap and rocked you a bit to make sure you were okay, but you seemed out for the night, so I put you in this adorable PJ shirt and tucked you into bed. I think it was just what you needed." Ryan tried to process how this was happening. How did he feel so comfortable in this situation? He was an adult college student, not a baby. Puzzled, he tried to question Bob, but when he opened his mouth, he just seemed to stammer and babble. "Look, you have a lot going on. Let's get you up and fed. You deserve a yummy breakfast. Then we can talk about what we need to talk about your living situation," Bob said as he finished his last tape, snugly fitting around Ryan's waist. Helping Ryan down from the changing table, he stood barefoot next to Bob, a fresh white diaper between his legs. The PJs he was put in had a cartoon bear sleeping, but the shirt fell a bit short of his torso, so that you could see his belly button was exposed. Sparkles in one hand and Bob in the other. He guessed breakfast sounded good, so he looked to Bob and nodded. Bob picked up the pacifier from the table and put it in Ryan's mouth, then grabbed the dirty diaper from the table. Bob tossed it into a large diaper pail next to the table. "I'm sure this will be full in no time, buddy," Bob says with a smile and a chuckle, leading the boy with his hand. They head downstairs. Shortly after, Ryan was sitting at the kitchen island wearing the same outfit, and Bob was finishing up making pancakes. In front of him, a placemat with plastic plate and cartoons on it, and a sippy cup full of chocolate milk. Ryan felt a bit silly about everything that was happening, but chocolate milk and pancakes were both his favorite, so he couldn't help but enjoy this breakfast. Before getting his food, he already drank 2 cups of milk, and Bob was more than happy to keep his glass refilled. Bob sat next to him and helped Ryan cut his syrup-soaked pancakes before handing him a fork and said, "Let's make sure you don't make a mess." And from out of nowhere has a bib which is getting tied around Ryan's neck. Too hungry to care, Ryan waits for his fork and dives right in. "Slow down, buddy. No tummy aches on my watch." After scarfing down the food, Ryan felt full and happy. Bob enjoyed watching him look so happy. Grabbing a damp napkin, Bob cleans the syrup off of Ryan's face and removes the bib. "Okay, little dude, I think we better have a chat now about what you need. How's that sound?" Ryan nodded and felt a little nervous. He really wanted free rent, but was scared what that would mean for him. Bob helped Ryan from the stool, grabs the stack of papers from the previous day. Let's go talk out on the porch." Bob leads them from the kitchen through the sliding door to the screened-in porch. The cool morning left the air crisp against Ryan's exposed midriff and bare feet. On the floor was a colorful fleece blanket, a pile of blocks, and a few toy trucks. Ryan looked at the sofa Bob sat on, and then the floor. He knew he should sit on the sofa, but he felt drawn to sit on the floor. "It's okay to sit on the floor, Ryan. Nothing wrong with that." With the approval, Ryan sat down and was looking up at Bob. Still shirtless, his broad chest caught the light, and a touch of silver in his chest hair seemed to sparkle. He stared at the papers, then at Ryan, back and forth a few times. Ryan's light brown eyes looking wide and adorable, staring up at him. With very little adjustment, the slight crinkle of his diaper, Bob was loving how adorable he looked, and how comfortable he seemed to be adjusting to wearing them. He usually had boys with a lot more apprehension. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 3. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when the next video comes out. Bye, guys.